right? It's like these are all ex-Steelers. Doesn't mean what they're saying is inaccurate, but these are all ex-Steelers. And my guess is the rest of the Steelers have realized that all this drama, all this talking to the media about what's going on, that's not good for business, right?
Well,
just like it doesn't have it, and that's why they're not saying anything positive. They're not saying anything negative because they're over it. Antonio Brown's a Raider, Le'Veon Bell's a Jet.
And Ben's a Steeler, so we'll get to see if this is his fault or not next year.
Fair enough.
Saquon Barkley did not react on social media or anywhere else when the Odell Beckham trade news broke last week, but he did reveal recently what the aftermath was like for players in Odell's inner circle. Saquon said at Penn State Pro Day, "We talked over FaceTime. He had just gotten traded, so I don't think he was really happy about it. He just gave me some advice about how to handle stuff in the league. He was the same old big brother to me that he's always been." What's going on with Odell in this trade is very interesting because obviously Odell's public statement was very positive, which is, of course, going to be. But his initial comments to Kimberly Jones and NFL Network were like, it is what it is, and I don't really know what to think right now. And then Saquon saying he didn't seem too happy about it. Then you had the weird Instagram post the other day.
Which was what? Because I honestly didn't see
he basically just said like he needs to take some time off and like decompress.
He just realized he's in Cleveland. He was in New York, now he's in Cleveland.
Well,
and I think the Browns have an incredible roster of offensive weaponry and some defensive weaponry.
It just could be possible that we're all more excited about Odell joining Baker Mayfield and playing with that roster than Odell necessarily is. I'm not saying he's not happy to be with Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry and with all the pieces they have there.
He's not happy being Cleveland.
I sympathize with players when they're traded because they're expected to come out and be just excited about joining a new franchise. And there's a lot of personal things that go on with moving. Not to mention moving from New York City to Cleveland, Ohio. It's a very drastic change.
I know.
Which I don't think that we're accounting for. So listen, it's just interesting all the comments that are coming out about it.
Listen, I think Odell's really, really smart. I think he doesn't. I don't think he necessarily understands why he got sent out of New York. I don't think it just has to do with they made us a trade we could not refuse. I think they were tired of it. They were tired of some of the other antics. There was still some baggage there. Obviously his general manager had traded away, gotten rid of Steve Smith and still gone to Super Bowls or some of that. And I think the reality is, look, you can be the best receiver on earth in Cleveland. You're still in Cleveland. Whereas if you do everything one of the parts that has made Odell Beckham Jr. arguably the most popular and famous football player in the league is not just the one-hand catches in the hair. No, it's the fact he's done it with the New York Giants.
It's New York. So this will be an opportunity for him to be good in a smaller market and do the winning that he needed to do while being a star. And New York was a perfect place for him to establish himself being a star, not necessarily
it's the opposite. Usually the order is the opposite, right? Usually you win and then you come to the big market.
Yeah. So finally, the Celtics have had a lot of highs and lows this season. However, it's been made clear that Kyrie is the emotional leader of that team. And Terry Rozier had this to say on Fair Game with Christine Leahy.
I learned so much just about his attitude, how much his attitude can affect how we play. When he's a happy camper, when everything's going good for him, we're rolling. Everything else is good. Well, sometimes when he want to apply that pressure, when he wants to get mad or whatever for his reasons being, and then it's just like everybody's so uptight. So it's just like we're gonna go as far as he take us.
You're always going to go as far as your best player takes you. So I understand what he's saying, that Kyrie's emotions clearly affect the play of this team, which is something that Kyrie's got to keep in check going into the playoffs if they're going to have any success this year. But you're always going to go as far as your best player takes you.
Yes, but the fact that, one, you are who your best player is, especially in basketball. But two, the idea that Terry Rozier has pointed out, sometimes he's mopey. He's saying sometimes he's mopey and that's why we're mopey. So I do think it points to a lack of emotional immaturity from Kyrie, which I think Kyrie actually understands. I think that was kind of what that apology was when he was in LA going back to last week, which was he's starting to understand hey, actually everybody does feed off me. This is a little bit different than I thought. It's one of those, you can have a bad day, but you can't have everybody else know you have a bad day because they feed off of that.
Right, exactly. All I know is I'm really excited for the Eastern Conference playoffs for
totally. There's four really good teams. They're very interesting, and we'll see if the Celtics perform better because their roster appears better than last year. That's Christine with the news.
Well, that's the news.
Joy.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Headline News.
I'm sorry, Joy. We just had Christine.
okay, we
She used to
just
sit
had
right there. I'm
Christine.
looking right at
Christine's
you.
clip.
And I was just like, man, what did I do? I honestly apologize.
It's okay.
I honestly apologize. But that was a bit of a. We dropped out on radio, right? We did. We hit the dump button. Good. We did not hit the dump button. Awesome. 3-time Super Bowl champion Mark Schlereth joins the show upcoming next. We'll find out what he thinks about Le'Veon Bell's comments in regards to Ben Roethlisberger, and is it me or the Arizona Cardinals doing everything they can to completely crush any of the trade value and relationship with Josh Rosen? That's upcoming next. But first, did you know that you can fill out a tournament bracket at DraftKings this year? That's right. DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports, has a totally free bracket with tens of thousands of dollars up for grabs. Everyone fills out a bracket during the tourney. Might as well be on an award-winning app with tons of free prizes. For the first time ever, DraftKings is offering a bracket battle promotion with $64,000 in prizes. You know how brackets work, right? Before tip-off of the first game of the tournament, that's Thursday, you pick the winner of every game, every round. There's a lot to it. The best part is you can play for free with the code word HERD, H-E-R-D. Download the DraftKings app or head to DraftKings.com now. Use the code HERD to enter the bracket for free and complete your share of the $64,000. The code is HERD, H-E-R-D. To enter the bracket battle for free, only at DraftKings. The game inside the game. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
This is your invitation.